hover over it. You hover over it. About a minute.
How's everyone doing?
Oh, you know them. They love to talk to you.
Come on, talk to me.
Almost ready, my friend. Trying to see what we got in the old comments here.
Today's been a really good day.
Yes, it has been. All right, there we go. All right, you ready? I'm Scott.
I'm Don.
And we're talking real estate. That has been a great day, and it's going to get even better because you know why?
Why?
Guess who our guest is today?
John.
John Boettger,
From
the guy
Three
keeps
Stripes.
when you want to be
Heating
hot.
and cooling.
He keeps you cool when you want to be cool. I'm telling you what. My mom promised me she's going to heckle him from the crowd here, so we'll see. If you see some 73-year-old lady talking dirty on the chat, that's my mom, my assistant. So
is she saying she's the most beautiful man?
no, he's not the most beautiful man.
Is that the apple?
Give me a break on the most beautiful man, guy.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Did you show houses to the most beautiful man?
I did.
I'm sorry. I mean, like, you got to call a spade a spade. I'm sorry. Jeez. All right, guys. So we have a great show for you. I promise you this will be one of the most informative shows that we do. Just talking to John for like 5 minutes about stuff. I picked up about 5 different things. So it's going to be ridiculously informative. If you want to do watch parties so other people can see it, go ahead. You want to share it all over the place. It's going to be awesome. Okay?
This is one of those topics and guests that you have that you deal with this on almost an everyday basis. You have to have heat. You have to have air conditioning. So it's just an everyday occurrence.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you keep it running smoothly? How do you try to avoid potential problems and money pit? So it's going to be very important.
He's also got some new trends.
Nobody
ever thinks about trends in heating and cooling. He's got some new trends that Don almost fell over when he was talking to him about it. Yeah. So I'm sure Don will have it in his house soon.
So instead of using coal now, where they're using this thing called natural gas.
You're killing me.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not. I'm not. So Chris Wojcinski is already John. He's not even on yet, lady. Give it a break. He's not even on yet. He'll be here. Trust me. Okay, he'll be here. Quick, let's do this. Let's go give Hollywood Wilkowitz a big shout out. I want to say he's like 68. The man, he looks like about 50 years old. He goes to every pool that they ever go to in like Vegas or something. He gets all the women. It's amazing to me. So Hollywood Wilkowitz, happy birthday. Guys, let us know where you're tuning in the comments.
What's he doing at the pool? Is he swimming or is he just hanging?
He's just talking. He's a talk. He loves to
hanging?
talk. So yeah, he was going to be maybe our man on the street, but we got to talk a bit of that. So, all right. Guys, let us know where you're tuning in from. You coming from the raw streets of Riverview? Where are you coming in at? Are you coming from Heartland, Michigan? Are you coming from Brighton? Where are you coming from?
Clarkston.
You be coming from Clarkston?
Oakland County.
Absolutely.
Ann Arbor, A-Square.
As always, one of our favorite, most important things that we got, question of the show. Now, people forget stuff all the time, guys. They do. They forget things all the time. So our question show is, what's something you always forget? What's something you always forget? Is it your wife's anniversary? Is it
your wife's?
Your underwear?
Well, if it's your wife's, wouldn't it be yours too?
Well, it would be, but they think about that way more than we do. You know, what I mean, they think about that way more than we do. So
change your underwear.
Don, real quick, while we're talking question of the show, a couple of fans of the show are talking about how awesome the T-shirts are that we have. They're made by Impact Outfitters. They're super soft. Jennifer Johnson is one. Steve Kreitz wears his every Wednesday when we're at the show. I mean, people love them. They're definitely fun. If you're a fan of the show, you definitely get one of the T-shirts. So that's that. Question show, what's something you always forget?
What's something you always
forget? Something I always forget, my ass most of the times. I want to go,
I'll tell you what, man, you won't have a problem finding that.
Wow. See, he's already throwing haymakers at me already.
I'm in a mood today.
John heckling us over there. He's already throwing haymakers at me. I mean, geez.
John liked that one, huh?
I'm not going to do this all show. I'm not going to do this show. All right? All right, so let's get to the market update, damn it. Go ahead.
Man, we're 5 minutes in and we haven't really covered anything.
That's right. Go ahead.
All right, so market update is Oakland County. I thought we were going to go more.
Now you're the funny man. You can't remember the straight shit?
I forgot mortgage moment. I thought we was going to try to come out with mortgage. All right, so Oakland County, and I'm going to fly through this right now. So active, currently on the market in 2020, 220. This was last month in September.
Yep.
2,222 homes came on the market. as opposed to last year, it was 2479. So that's listings are down 10%. Pendings are up 34%. 34%. And solds closed, meaning the keys and the money changed hands, up 21%.
Gee, Manise, unbelievable. All right, so Julie Long is in the house. She wants to get a look at John Boettger, the heating and cooling man that has it all. She wants to see that too. So I see her there. Guys, listings again are down, pendings are up, so we're sold. So we've been beating this drum for like 6 months, right? Almost all of COVID, since, well, maybe 5 months, since May, right? It's just, if you're thinking about selling, now's the time. Now's the time.
Oakland County's crazy. That's some crazy.
And we talked last week about the different options, what you do on the other end. So you can even sell, stay put somewhere, live with a relative or something, and try to capitalize later on, right?
Or rent, yeah.
Yep.
You got options.
So let's go to our good friend, Mike Mclaughlin, who's deep in a bunker in Woodhaven. Here we go.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
Good.
So tell us about the mortgage world, my friend.
Well, the first thing is I like to comment on your question of the day, and I'm really good at forgetting passwords, and like especially the Wi-Fi passwords. So I always have to ask my son what the Wi-Fi password is.
Yep.
Mortgage news today. Mortgage rates stay at all-time lows. I think that the news is it actually did set another record low as they're in the 3% range, and 3% to 3.25% based upon your eligibility. And it's just amazing. But the other news that accompanied it today is that applications are actually down 2% for the week. That's a week over week number. But
2%, woo-hoo-hoo, man, scary.
Well, we're up 24% year over year. So compared to last year, mortgage new home purchase applications are up 24% from last year.
So, Michael, let me ask you this question again. I don't want to go on a big long tangent of this. Do you think the November election will have an effect on rates?
I think that the global pandemic that we've been dealing with has set the chord for the Federal Reserve to keep rates low for at least 2 additional years past this one. We should not expect there to be dramatic increases in rates due to that.
Okay, I just wanted to see what your feel was on that. You know what I mean?
Well, typically going into an election year, this is probably where you were coming from. Interest rates stay low during an election year because the incumbent president or the incumbent party wants everything to look hunky dory with that aspect of the financial industry. So that's typically true, but the overlying thing that we have now is we have the Fed wanting to keep the economy, at least in the short term, to reinforce the economy. He'll do that by keeping the Federal Reserve rate low, which will in turn keep mortgage rates low.
So you're thinking for a while this is going to be, hey?
Couple years, yeah.
Hope so.
Yeah.
I sure hope so. Guys, as always, Mike Mclaughlin, the best and brightest in the mortgage industry, Academy Mortgage. Brother, we appreciate you. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks,
Always
Mike.
good to see you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, bud. All right. So, guys, back to the question of the show. What is something you always forgot? What is something? Passwords. I suck at passwords. How about you?
I have them all written down, so.
I pretend to have them written down. I put them in a phone app. It still doesn't work. I'm like an old man, like a 700-year-old man.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't even pretend to even remember is passwords. I don't even mess with that. I just go and find it.
So, guys, what is it something you forgot? I got Steve Kreitz says, I always forget to put my trash out. I forget my phone cord charger. Jennifer, I'm with you. I bet you a phone charger a month to cord because I forget that stuff all the time too. So I'm with you on that. What do you always forget? Zach Wilkowitz, what do you always forget, buddy? Come on. You got to get in on this. So let's go to topic number 1, the Forgotten 5, Don. Gets right along with the question of the show. So let me tell you where this came about. I was thinking about things that people forget, like, just for whatever reason. And a buyer yesterday forgot to change utilities. Okay. Somebody fumbled around with another one of these. And it seemed like these were happening all over in real estate transactions, where I'd heard about them happening. Okay. So each one of them, guys, is a little thing in a real estate transaction that just, first of all, it can cost you money. That's the first thing. And then 2, it's just like one loose end you got to tie up at some point.
Right. You have to get it done at some point. And we are at the very end. You have all this work to do when you either put the house on the market or when you get an accepted contract, and all this that's going on all the time. And then when you get close to the end, it's like, all right, so the buyer's approved, ready to close, and you kind of forget some of this stuff. And it's not hard to forget one of these things.
Not
so,
hard at all.
for example, I have a closing on a Friday, and I had to remember that I gotta get the final water reading. So I got that scheduled, and you kind of like to do it a couple days, 3-4 days before you close. So I got it in today, but it's just one of those things that I remembered.
So here's what I got. Here's the forgotten 5. Start with 1, Don. Change utilities.
Change utilities. This is a big one. Usually we're talking about this at the closing table to do this. Sometimes it's nice if you're getting the keys at closing, you want to have the utilities into your name if you're the buyer. And as a seller, you want to get the final reading so that you can get the bill to pay what you owe. So it's not unusual for that one. At least at closing, it will not be forgotten if it goes to that point.
Yeah.
You will be talking about that. And it's okay, you work it out. But if they're getting the keys that day, somebody might be paying a little one day or 2 days extra. And somebody maybe get a couple days free. So
absolutely. So that's 1.
Not a big deal, but it is important. 2,
some people forget the mortgage payoff. Not specifically the buyer or the seller, but sometimes the title company is a little slow in getting the mortgage payoff. I went through this last 24 hours. A very dear friend of mine, we were selling his father's house who passed away, and the payoff all of a sudden magically wasn't there. So we had to scramble and figure it out. And okay, hurry up and call somebody, fax this guy, and all this other craziness to get the mortgage payoff, right?
Yeah, and that one's a little bit harder. That one you have to have, and you need it a couple of days in advance at least, because sometimes it takes 2 to 5 days just to get that you to the title company.
That's ridiculous. This shouldn't take that long. It should be like half a day. It should be a couple hours.
Yes.
It's not really that hard.
Yes.
Really, it's not
it shouldn't be.
That's
but
kind of a dicky thing. Like, we're like, we're going to take 5 days.
Shouldn't be, but they do that sometimes.
That's number 2. Number 3, the final water, like Don was talking about. Luckily, Chris Bergeron, the ace assistant for me, always calls on the final water. But think about things like this, like Dearborn. Final water reading was Monday. We closed today. Final water reading was Monday. Okay, Dearborn takes 5 days to get it to you. So it didn't matter if it was on Monday. It was still going to happen on Friday because I like to have them at closing. I really do, because then everybody gets dispersed at once.
It's helpful. And, it's just Dearborn Heights it takes I think they're way in advance, 2 weeks sometimes. And so you really got to be on the ball with that. Some of these cities you realize to get it sooner, order it much sooner than closing.
Well, and the title company's holding $300 or $400, and it might not sound a lot, but it's $300 or $400. I mean, that's money. You know what I mean?
And if the buyer's getting the keys at closing, they may have 2 or 3 weeks of possibly 5, 7, 10 days of free water.
I'd be turning off. I'd be having baths every day. I'd be freaking turning everything on, buddy. Free water everywhere. You know what I mean? How about next one, number 4, property transfer affidavit and the homestead, the things that go to the city. Again, it's another Chris Bergeron hotspot. She handles this like today. Close today. She's going to Dearborn tomorrow. She'll put it in the mail, right? If not, I would forget it. I guarantee that would happen. And it's something you can screw your taxes up. Like the homestead exemption form that goes to the city, your taxes go up 30-40% if you don't forget to file that thing, right? And then property transfer, you might not have the property in your name. Yeah,
and you have to get it. Yeah, if you're selling your house and you're buying another one, you have to get that one out of your name so that you can apply for the new house homestead. So it's very, very important.
And then last one, these two things go together. The key exchange form, if you're occupying the house at their closing, right? What day you got the keys, what day they gave you the keys, because that's money again. Like the seller is paying you money. Or you're going to get some kind of occupancy check. So those are the forgotten 5. They're little things, they really are, but they start adding up. You start screwing them up, or that you forget about, right? And people forget stuff. So guys, it's definitely a forgetful kind of world. So let's go back to the question of the show. What's something you always forget? I'm going to give you a couple. Ready? Lori Knight says, I leave the house without my phone at least 3 mornings a week. No kidding. You might be better off that way. Really, you might be better off that way.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
So my sister says Scott forgets his sister's birthday all the time. So remember the 30th. I know exactly when it is. All right. Zach Wilkowitz, I still have his keys. There's cookies from Sister Sweets in my fridge.
Oh, my goodness.
He's right. He's definitely right. I still have those in my fridge.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
All these birthday ones. Everybody wants to remember. Scott forgot this birthday. Scott forgot that birthday. Good Lord. I'm telling you. So what's something you always forgot? Folks, throw it in there. Throw it in there for us. What is something you always forget or you forget a lot?
Okay, so up next is the City Spotlight.
City Spotlight, Clarkston, Michigan.
Yes.
Is that Pine Knob territory?
It is.
Pine Knob.
It is. In
Clarkston, Michigan.
the old ski hill, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, my dad used to live out that way. It was my favorite. One of my favorite properties he lived in was out there. He had a lake property at one point, and then he had a property in the woods in Clarkston.
Yeah.
It was like I had all kinds of good scary stories.
Yeah.
Like going to grave sites and stuff when I was a little kid. Yeah, definitely fun stuff. Clarkston, Michigan. So tell us about Clarkston, Michigan.
Okay, so currently on the market, there's not a lot of activity there.
Oh, Clarkston can't be that big, is it?
Yeah, and no, it's not.
Probably like
It's not that big.
Smaller.
So 7 current properties on the market, 7 currently pending. In the last 30 days, 4 homes sold.
Wait, hold on a second. My sister says DTE. There is no way in hell I'm calling it DTE. There's no way. It's Pine Knob. There's no way.
Oh.
I'll stand on that hill and die on it. Go ahead.
So the average sales price is $405,000. Wow, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good price up there.
Absolutely. I guess we're getting some listings out there.
Range from like 250 to 600, so it makes sense. 2,200 square feet is average square footage. $186 a square foot, which is pretty typical. I mean, it's a little bit above in some from other cities, but not too bad.
Yeah. Okay. So, how much square footage did you say?
2,200.
So nice, bigger homes. 405. Huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And $186 a square. Wow, that's nice money. Now we have to move our business out to Clarkston. We're going to be coming to you from Clarkston, Michigan from now on. That's where we're coming from.
You're going to have to visit us.
All right.
So the moment you've been waiting for.
Wait, hang on. You got to give them the question of the show one more time. What's something you always forgot? Next person I always forget to take my vitamins. Okay. I always forget to take my vitamins. I don't even take vitamins. But we won't forget this guy. The legend, John Boettger, is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Get John in here. Sir, how are you? Come on in. Go ahead, sit. You sure? Positive. All right, I'll go there. That's fine. All right. See, you guys even tell me what I got to do on my own show. That's how much respect we got for him. So, guys, this is going to be an informative show, okay? John knows a ton about heating and cooling stuff. You've been doing this how long now?
About 30 years.
Yeah, you've been doing it a long time. So, and again, even Don and I were just having a chance to chat with him before the show, and it was ridiculous how much, I was like, oh, my God, that's that? So, Don, throw the first question at him.
So 30 years in the business, you finally getting to know what's going on with this furnace and heating and cooling stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Just learned.
Okay.
Just learned.
Still learning some stuff. All right, John, what should homeowners do right now with their heating and cooling system, if anything?
The biggest thing on any of the heating and cooling system is make sure you change that air filter. Creates 90% of the problems that I go out to. If the filter is clean, if they're the real thin 1-inch filters, they need to be changed every 3 months.
Okay.
The 1-inch filters, so those really thin ones
Yes.
that you always see at Aces or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
So is there any out there that those 1-inch ones or that are a good quality one that, as opposed to those ones that some of them look like a little sock, like it's a stretched out sock or something. Yeah. It's not covering. It's not.
If you could see through it, you'll only be stopping bowling balls.
Right.
I mean, heck,
That's pretty good. That's good.
Right.
There is a thing called MERV, M-E-R-V. The higher the number, the more it stops. But that also means it clogs up quicker too.
Right. Okay.
So you're
getting a little bit of both ends. Like it's not more stuff, but you're gonna have more stupid. Well, it's clogged up now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to change it more often.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
If you're paying about $4 or $5 a filter, you probably it's a good filter.
Okay. So let's talk about repairs. Like, what's the most frequent repair you do? Besides furnace tests.
I would have to say probably the most frequent is a flame sensor that it's a safety that is used to verify that all the burners are ignited, and it needs to be cleaned every 2-3 years. If it doesn't, it's gonna fail and you won't have any heat.
So how much is something like that kind of job cost?
About $75 what we charge.
That's not too bad. That's not really that, but it's a lot more than a couple
Is it a replacement of a part or
Clean.
just a cleaning?
It's just a metal rod that we clean.
Okay. So do you normally suggest having a furnace cleaning in the fall or just before you have to turn the furnace on, just every year so that you can check something like that?
You should have your furnace cleaned. I'm going to refer to DTE, not Pine Knob, but
God dang it!
They recommend that furnaces be cleaned every other year.
Every other year, okay.
So I kind of go with that because they don't have a horse in the race and doesn't look like they're not trying to make money. They're just
trying
this
to
is what they recommend.
maybe
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know.
So-
I never knew that.
Talk about costly repairs. What are big costly things where you start going, ooh, maybe you get a new furnace or something like that?
Well, we go back to that air filter. If you don't keep that air filter clean, you can have problems with your blower motor because it's working a lot harder. Your gas valves, that also hurts. There's a draft-induced motor that helps push exhaust out. Those usually go once a lifetime of a furnace. So furnaces last 20 to 25 years. So usually around 10, 12 years, that's going to have to be replaced. They work very hard. If that doesn't work, nothing happens. You have no heat.
So let's talk like high efficiency stuff. In your estimation, is it worth it getting those? Is it payoff 1, 2? Is there more? Because I hear sometimes there's problems with high efficiency stuff. There's more parts and stuff.
There is no difference on parts nowadays. The 80% efficient furnaces have the same problems that 95 or 90% of high efficiency furnaces have. If you're going to be in the house somewhere between 6 to 8 years, then it's best probably to look at the high efficiency because everything after that you're making money on. Right now, if you put an 80% furnace on, 20 cents on every dollar of gas you use goes up the chimney.
Really?
You put a 95% furnace in, only a nickel goes up the chimney.
Okay.
So
That's a good way to look at it. That's a good way to look at it.
All right, so on a different type of heat, boiler heat, are those what are your feelings on that? Is that a good heat? Is that a good type of source of heat?
Boiler heat is a great heat.
Okay.
The only huge drawback is there is no air conditioning.
Okay.
And the boiler heat is it's a moist heat, doesn't dry your air out. The boilers last about 40 years. So once they're installed, they're there for a while.
For a while, okay. So I've shown houses that had that and they have central air conditioning, and if it's a 2-story, that's a big problem.
Yes,
of course. But if it's a ranch, it works, and most of those sellers seem to really like that heat. So they, like you said, do you feel it's warmer than forced air?
Well, 70 degrees is 70 degrees, but
yeah.
If your air is moist.
Yeah,
it actually feels better if it's 7 degrees moist air compared to dry air.
Okay.
Would it be even? Yes, it would be more even because each room would have its own radiator or baseboard heating.
Right. Okay.
So each room would be a lot more.
Okay.
And they have separate thermostats. You could have 5 separate thermostats in that house compared to 1.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So let me ask another question. When we talk about those lines, talk about that zone stuff they have. Is that? One, it's got to be expensive. Yeah.
It is more expensive. Yes.
Is it worth the expense as far as is it definitely climate's different every room?
Well, a lot of times you'll have zoning where you'll have a thermostat upstairs and a thermostat in the main floor. The upstairs thermostat says time for heat. Dampers open up and push heat upstairs. It is nice to have, but it also has to be designed when it's built. A lot of homes now, especially in this area, are built in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
There was no air conditioning back then, and homes aren't designed to get enough cooling, enough heat upstairs.
Right.
So okay, so let me take another place then. So talking about ductwork, because I know you do ductwork kind of stuff too.
Yep.
Do you see that a lot? Like a lot of people in their basement have the heavy ducts, like you have a duct underneath and stuff like that. Do you see homeowners taking those out and putting smaller ducts in?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. Yes, you can put smaller. Right now, the average duct is between 8 to 10 inches.
Okay.
If you make it narrower, you got to make it wider. But
So
there is a return.
higher up but wider. Yeah.
Right. But there is a certain spot where you're not going to be pushing enough air.
Really?
You've got, yes, air ductwork cannot be less than 4 inches.
Wow. Okay. So
that
definitely.
issue anyways.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're good. No, you're good.
So I remember this was years ago that there was insulated ductwork and tin, which all I see are tin. The insulated was. It would seem to be this, an inch thick or something. Is that still out there? Is that gone? How do you feel about that? Is that a good thing to invest in?
It's called duct board. It is out there. Not very popular because a lot of the stuff that's inside your ductwork adheres to that.
Okay.
It sticks that. You can't. How are you going to clean that?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay.
You can't.
That's why. All right. I never thought of that. So. Okay.
So it sounds. I mean, cleaning is a big deal. So let me ask another question then. So as far as duct cleaning, I mean, do you recommend that on a regular basis or no?
I don't. We don't do that. That usually is a separate company.
Well, no, but I'm just saying. I mean, do you think? I mean, do you think there'd be a difference?
I guess you'd have to, look into that. Far as, is it something that you have allergies? Do you have, is there mold problems in the house? Yeah. They can take care of that for you.
Yeah,
it's not cheap. You're looking $600 to $800 to get to
really?
Do it right. Yes.
Right.
Okay, because I see it all over the place too.
You'll see the great big trucks with the great big balloons, like 6 to 8 big balloons.
Yeah.
Those companies are really doing a good job. If you pay
$100,
$200,
they got the power to do it. Okay,
you're getting what you pay for.
Okay. So go ahead.
No, so it costs. It costs
more than I thought.
Yeah, me too.
$300 or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what kind of trends? And this is where Don got all excited. So he might start smiling and acting all weird right now, just so you know, be prepared for it. What kind of trends are you seeing? And guys, this is what I want you to pay attention, because the stuff he was talking about, I was like, really? That's what's going on? Listen to this. Go ahead.
Indoor air quality is huge, especially now with the COVID, where everybody's working at home. All of a sudden people realize that, this home air isn't as great as we thought it was, or we only spent here 8 hours sleeping, and we're looking at different things. There's a thing called iWave that came out that helps purify the air, takes out viruses and bacteria. Seeing that COVID-19 is a virus, that seems to be a very popular item right now. Also, there's the UV lights. They've been around for a long time. Those are very popular too. The same situation as the air goes past it. The UV lights actually will kill the virus and bacteria. They actually use UV lights to purify water. Wow! So that's something. This has been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the first one, the
iWave,
right? So I mean, like, you're going to see that in commercial a lot, so that people could say our place is cleaned by
There are some commercial applications, as long as the rooftop units aren't too big, they can be used in commercial applications.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's just I never would have thought of that. I mean, because now you're talking about, think about the stacking effect, right? So, okay, you have your furnace serviced and you put a nice air cleaner, right? 2, then you have your ducts cleaned, right? Then you have those things installed. I mean, that's as clean as you're going to get. What you say?
Yeah. Ideally, is you want to keep the air clean.
Yeah.
So this iWave can be installed in residential, and is it ballpark figure on how much it would cost somebody if they were interested?
On the size that you're looking at, but you're probably about $500. So it's not a cheap thing, but at the same time, I mean,
you're breathing better.
You're breathing better.
You want to breathe better air?
Hey. You think about it. If you have to go to the hospital because you got the flu or you got a virus, that hospital bill is going to be a heck of a lot more than that.
Right. Sure. So, is there any maintenance to this iWave, or just install it, let it go?
Install it and let it go.
Okay.
I mean,
that's so interesting to me.
Here we go. Look at this new fanboy right now.
It's new technology, but it's very simple. It's been around for a long time. What it's being adapted to.
The UV lights have to be changed every matters on a bulb every year or every 2 years.
Okay. Now, are they really touchy? Like, you can't touch them?
They're going to be inside the ductwork. You're not going to be touching them.
Okay. Okay.
The bulbs are $50-$60 a piece.
Yeah, so that technology started coming in on wrestling mats to clean wrestling mats. We had like a machine you would run over the mat with, and it had UV, but you touched the bulb one time and it messed it up. It did something to it.
The oil from your skin?
Oil from your skin messed the bulb up or something.
This is in the ductwork. Once it's in there, it's in
there.
So is that something a homeowner would do, or do you have to have would you come out and install it?
I think the majority of the times the contractors do that. I mean, it can be done by the homeowner.
Okay.
I mean, with the power of internet, you can probably purchase those off the internet and put them in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but I would not suggest it. I would not suggest it.
How would you know it would be 1 year or 2 years, or if it went bad? How would you know?
You have to look at the manufacturer on the bulb.
Okay.
And you wouldn't know. I mean, the light bulb would still be on. It just doesn't have the capability of doing the cleaning.
Okay. Yeah. So it's important to change it out and just schedule it and just rechange it. Just be done with it.
If you're going to invest that kind of money, invest on replacing the bulbs.
Okay.
When manufacturers say they need to replace them.
Right. So we had a really good discussion, and I think this will go into your story from the road with the things that you brought. Now, explain to us when a filter is dirty, walk through the temperature changes, and this blew my mind. I was like, wow.
On a normal furnace with a clean air filter, as the furnace comes on, the burners come on. It gets up to about 150 degrees inside the heat exchanger. And then the blower comes on and pushes the air out. It operates between 150 and 100 degrees in most cases. If your air filter is dirty and it can't bring enough air in to push it out, you're going to operate from 150 to 200. At 200, there's a safety in there that will shut the furnace, the burners down, so you're not going to be burning up the furnace. So now it works its way back down to 150. Burners come back on. It says time for blow motor. Blow motor still running, but it can't push enough air because it can't get enough air. So you're working between 150 and 200. You are really beating that furnace up, especially the heat exchanger.
So like longevity, like you kind of broke it down for us a little
You're
bit.
looking average furnace 20 to 25 years. I see it in a lot of rental homes where they're 15-year furnaces at best, and they are dirty, very dirty.
Yeah. So guys, like I said, some of the stuff we were talking about, I was just like blowing my mind. Yeah, renters. It's always renters. So John wanted you to see. He's got a couple of examples for you, and let's see if you can guess which one the rental one is.
All right. This here is your normal filter that we talked about earlier.
Yep.
The 1-inch.
1-inch filter. This one here, I got out of a house on a deck by Jackson. It's really dirty.
Was that by Jackson?
Yeah.
Is that Julie Longfeet?
I'm not mentioning names.
Wow.
I would never
It looks
mention names. This one's actually got little fuzzy fur.
Yeah, it looks furry.
Who knows what's on here? I certainly, I usually when I get these, I try to throw them out.
I mean, it's like cake.
I try to
Look
throw
at it.
them
I
out
can't
at
get
the
out my
homeowners.
finger.
Usually I try to throw them out at the house there because I really don't want this in my van.
Yeah.
But this one I happen to leave in there. And this is a case of, you're trying to draw air through this.
Yeah.
And, which one's going to have a better opportunity to get air through?
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So that's where the temperature's going 150 to 200 degrees, and it's cycling over and over.
This one's, as you can see, it's very dirty. Yeah, this one here actually caused the circuit board to go bad.
So that not cleaning your filter, what that cost them?
This here, the circuit board, you're looking about $250, $300.
So you didn't clean your filter, your $3 or $5 part or whatever it is. So now you're paying $250.
And that doesn't even include the gas, the additional energy you're using to keep it going.
Yeah, that blow motor is trying to warm that house up. Your gas is going on and off. It's called cycling. You're not doing yourself a favor by not changing the air filter. Yeah. Those thin ones every 3 months. Change them every 3 months.
Okay.
I got you. John, listen. This was
awesome.
Guys,
Thank you very much.
This is going to be on a bunch of times, so refer to it. John Boettger, 3 Stripes Heating and Cooling, one of the most honest people I know and knows what in the hell he's talking about, okay? Definitely knows. He's the only gentleman that I'll ever refer for heating and cooling ever. So, John, thanks so much for coming out. We appreciate it.
John, why don't you give me your phone number so that if they want to,
throw your number out
or
there.
something.
Yeah, business phone number is 313-563-3295.
And he is the absolute best in heating and cooling. So, 3 Stripes Heating and Cooling, John Boettger, thank you so very much.
Do you have to go?
Yeah, he's got to get the hot. He's got work to do, buddy.
John, thank you very much. Thank you.
This is the luckiest we get.
Thank you very much, John.
Hey, don't leave those things here with me. See, you left the furnace stuff here with us. How the hell did that happen?
So you can take it home. So you can.
Thanks, buddy.
So you can put your finger down there. So 3 Stripes is the best.
Yes, it is.
On there. So
yes,
yes.
It is. And Julie Long said it must have been shoddy workmanship of my HVAC guy. Man, it's rough. Your price just went up, girl. Your price just went up. All right, so 3 Stripes definitely is the best. I agree with that 100%. Let's talk fan of the show, Don. You ready?
Yes.
So I was thinking of this way. There's a couple of birthdays out there. One is already fan of the show, okay? And that was Tom Wilkowitz. So he is, I think, 67, 68. But there's another birthday out there, and that is Carrie Harleton. Carrie Harleton, you are a fan of the show. I know you're watching with some girlfriends or something like that.
So are they at the bar?
They're at the bar again. They're just drinks and talking real estate. That's what you get. So, guys, here's what I'd like to see in the chat as much as possible, okay? Carrie. We'll do a little wave like this.
Carrie.
We'll take an air filter, blow on it.
Oh, don't put that thing away. Jeez, okay. Throw that in his car, will you, John?
Oh, yeah. God dang it. God left me with the $1 air filter. Unbelievable. All right. So, Carrie Harleton, you are a fan of the show. T-shirt from Talkin Real Estate's coming to you. It'll be there probably this evening or tomorrow. Don, we got to talk question of the show. We'll throw it out there for folks one more time. Hang on. We'll throw it out there one more time for people. Okay, question of the show. What is something you always forget? We'll give you about one more minute to kind of work through this. What's something you always forget? There's a bunch of good ones. I've seen some good ones. Oh, is everybody? Scott's forgetting everybody's birthday. Let's see. What do we got? I like this one. Taking out the trash. That's good. The cookies. That's always good. But he's. Oh, that guy's killing me. Charger, phone charger, cord. That's a good one. These are fun. And I know you guys can hear me. Don and I are kind of looking through them as we're doing it. So, guys, what else you got? What else you got for us? I think we do. I think. Hang on, that one right there, because it's silly. Don't you think? This one. So you deliver that too. Yeah.
Chewy?
No.
Cookies.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the powers that be have convened. The question of the show winner.
All right. So, but the thing is okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Say it.
Well. This person's not forgetting.
Yeah, somebody else is forgetting.
This person's
somehow
forgetting.
It came back to me.
How does that work?
So here's what we got. Zach Wilkowitz, the fact that I forgot your cookies for the last 2 weeks is why you are the winner. You get a gift card to Red Lobster, Buffalo Wild Wings, Cheesecake Factory, Cracker Barrel, and P.F. Chang's, okay? So you get a gift card to those. I think it's $25. I think it's where it's at.
So since that's going out to Zach, I got a feeling those cookies don't exist anymore.
They do. Yes, they do.
I bet they don't even exist.
Cookies. Listen, you better take a picture of those damn cookies because they're there.
Who has them?
Zach's going to make sure. I'm going to make sure he takes a picture of it, okay? I'm going to make sure he takes a picture of it.
All right.
So let's get a little quick Zach going.
You got to remember Zach.
All right, give Zach a shout out. Let's see some Zachs in the chat. Zach. Got to give him a little shout out there. All right, and then we'll finish up with the story from the road. And I'm going to need a minute to kind of get this going here. So, Don, usually our stories from the road, you know what, before I'll start that, I want to talk about one more thing. Pumpkin Challenge, Don, next week, 10 days from today, is Pumpkin Challenge.
Okay. All right, have some
right?
next
Pumpkin
week.
Challenge, 23rd and 27th. All you got to do is carve a pumpkin, post it on our Facebook pages. That's it. Either if you're Don's crowd here with him or my crowd with me. Okay, you get your name in for a drawing. We got $400 prizes. Okay, one's Bed Bath & Beyond, one's Home Depot, one's a restaurant of your choice, and then one's a pure Michigan basket. We're making up with all kinds of cool stuff because we're going to Mclaughlin.
That basket's cool.
Yeah, so very cool stuff. Very, very cool stuff.
When are you going there?
This weekend.
Okay,
so we're gonna have some cool things. So that's that, guys. Pumpkin Challenge. Pumpkin Challenge is going to be huge. All right, but I want to do story from the road. And the reason I put the subtitle down there is the honor, okay? I want to talk to you about, Don and I love doing this job, okay? We love selling real estate. We love helping people. I mean, we make a good living out of it. But I was able to, over the last month and culminating today, to really do something that was my absolute honor to do, okay? Danny Schubert has been my friend since I was 5 years old. So at this point, we've been friends for 40 years. Okay. And I grew up knowing his dad as kind of like my dad. Okay. And we were at each other's house all the time. Mm-hmm. So he calls my ma his ma. Okay. I had the honor of, he passed away during this COVID thing. And I had the honor of getting their house sold for it. Pops' house. They used to call him Pops.
Yeah.
Right. I had the honor of getting this house sold for him. And I tried to make it as easy as possible. You know what you do? I mean, again, you try to help everybody, but there's some that are just extra heartstrings, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I might cry saying this because it's serious stuff. So Schubert family, if you're watching at all, it definitely was my honor to help you take care of Pops' house. So
good job, bud.
Thank you very much. So it's not a funny story, but it definitely was very heartfelt.
Meaningful to you and to the Schubers.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
love you guys very much.
And that's one of the things that we do get to touch people's lives. And sometimes it's a happy, sometimes it's just helping somebody get to the next spot and move on. So
yeah, it's definitely there's emotion in our business. Yeah,
yes,
I agree with
absolutely, yes.
I agree with that. So Don, you want to sign it off for today, or do you want to talk for a few more minutes?
No, it's
call it a day.
Let's call it
guys. Keep coming back. The numbers keep cranking up. We have more showing last 2 weeks, people coming to watch than ever before. So just keep bringing people back. Do watch parties. We try to get this interview with John Boettger was freaking awesome. Like, go back and refer to it too, okay? So I'm Scott.
I'm Don.
We're talking real estate. See ya.